So let's talk about the full moon last night. It was also a supermoon, the harvest moon, and a lunar eclipse. And it was a Pisces full moon eclipse. I am a Pisces. I'm actually Pisces, Taurus. So Pisces sun, Pisces moon, Taurus rising. I'm very drawn to the water and to the moon, and I'm very empathic. I'm what you might call a chaos witch. I really don't like to consider myself a witch. I don't ever really use that label, but because of the generalized idea of, it's just simple. It's just the best way to describe it to, what do Harry Potter fans call people that aren't witches or muggles? I don't know. I unfortunately was not a Harry Potter fan. I wasn't allowed to watch it growing up. But I digress. I'm very unorganized, what you might call chaotic, and I don't like the idea of witchcraft being a certain type of craft, or you have certain ways of doing things. There are definitely guidelines, and there are definitely basic across the board knowledge through different cultures, different practices, different types and variations of medicine women, whether it's hoodoo, voodoo, shamanism, green witchcraft, black magic, whatever you do, there are certain things that are very similar and the same across the board for us. Herbs, oils, basic practices like salt, moon water, tarot, things like that. But I am an incredible believer in intuition and self-guided practice, backed by research, backed by knowledge, backed by understanding your ancestors and your heritage and your culture. So while some things, practices, spells, recipes may be similar across the board, not everything works for everyone, and not everyone should work with everything, if that makes sense. So I am what the community might consider a chaos witch. I'm very spontaneous. I do things by the seat of my pants. I do things by intuition. I do things by what feels right to me. I love to read, and I love to study, and I love to gain more knowledge and incorporate more things into my practices. But I don't necessarily follow the rules and guidelines of everyone else in the community. And there is always room to learn and to adjust and to transform yourself as you make mistakes. Even in this kind of lifestyle, in this craft, you're bound to make mistakes, especially when you're new and when you're learning. So I say all that to get around to this point finally, that I'm also very drawn to the moon. And I have been through a really rough interpersonal season, and I have recently just started spending time under the full moons. This past full moon, the eclipse, and then the full moon before. And since I've moved and went through a lot in the last year or so, I've lost a lot of things through moving and meeting new people. Well, not really lost things, but moved things on to the next person. All of us witches, we give shit away. Let's be honest. We always brag about our huge crystal collection and all of our good things that we have, but more than likely, you give things away more than you get things for yourself. And over the year or two, I've just given things away. Things have left me. We all know that sometimes things disappear, things break when it's time for it to leave our season. And that's happened to a lot of my stuff. So I don't have a lot of things in my spiritual toolbox and in my altar kit. So I've been starting small, just doing very small, simple rituals. And mostly it's for grounding myself. I am in the process of grounding body, mind, soul, and spirit, so that way I can fully recommit myself. And I am committed, and I just want to feel that passion that I once felt. So I take every opportunity I can under the moon, which I did last night. And I knew it was chaos. Let's be honest, any full moon, there's always chaos to ensue. But the combination of the supermoon, the harvest moon, and the eclipse was chaotic. Shit. The night itself wasn't chaotic. But whereas I usually feel grounded yet slightly energetic with the full moon, I felt almost overstimulated, almost anxious. But I found a quiet spot in the woods, which I am very blessed to live in, and I just sat and stared and communicated with her for a while. And the things that I experienced with the full moon could be an entire podcast on itself. But I finally felt like I was at peace. Also being a Pisces, I knew that things were coming. They knew things. It's a new season, it's a new cycle. My horoscope and my card tarot practices have been telling me that over the last month, that a new season is coming. This is my wake-up call. I'm about to feel my magician phase in life, and so it felt like a very needed experience. And of course, I created moon water. I love the water, of course. If you're Pisces, you know this because you love the water too. If you don't love the water, then you're drawn to the water or have been curious about the water. Also a whole other podcast. I love the water. It's funny because I was actually terrified of it as a child, but still drawn to it. But anyways, I knew it was going to be very powerful water. And I never have exact intentions of what I'm going to do with said water. That's another one of those things that I do very spontaneously, and often if by the end of the month I haven't used it for anything in particular, I will water my garden with it. I hadn't done anything with it. I don't usually do anything with it the very next day. However, in the small glass jar, I added 7 drops of rosemary essential oil for protection, and I use it almost like a anointing water for my head and my dreads to protect my crown. Today was chaotic as fuck. I won't even put the whole story on here. Very long, dramatic story short. Me, my fiance, and a couple friends of ours had a drawn on us for a ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous reason that was unnecessary. And I got into a fight with her trying to deflect that from my fiance. Actually, it's faded quite a bit, but she almost choked me out, and we involved the county police. Anyways, I don't need to go into detail about all of that, but I just want you to know a little bit of the extremity of the chaoticness. And a couple of other small things throughout the day that was unrelated that just seems like it was one of those days. And then as I'm scrolling through Facebook, I'm seeing on all of my Friendly Witch community that everyone is commenting and posting about their chaos water and the chaos magic that they performed. And I'm like, bing! But then I reminded myself that just because chaos magic is chaotic, that does not mean that it necessarily produces a chaotic ending. You may be chaotic in your practice, and your spell may include chaos, and you may experience chaos, but that does not mean that the universe will not work with what it has allowed you to create and bring you blessings of abundance if you are in right standing in righteousness with spirit. So I just thought that was a really neat perspective and thought I would share it with you guys. Because remember, to each their own. Follow your spirit, follow your intuition, and learn to love yourself today. Thanks, guys.